We cannot accept the increase in the temperature to 4 degrees Celsius. 2 degrees Celsius is a very bad target for humanity, but 4 degrees Celsius is a catastrophe. And the Cancun Agreement lead us to a scenario of 4 degrees Celsius. What has happened is that now we are beginning to move to a new kind of international agreement, a more loose agreement than the Kyoto Protocol. Now every developed country can make its pledge under its own willingness without any kind of relation with an international target. So some countries say that they are going to reduce 40% of their emissions from the levels of 1990, but others, like the US and Canada, say that they are going to reduce 3% of their greenhouse gas emissions, taking into account the levels of 1990, by the year 2020. So this means that at the end, the reductions that are on the table for the next 10 years are something between 13% to 17%. This doesn't lead us to a scenario of 2 degrees Celsius. This leads us to a scenario of 4 degrees Celsius. This means that, for example, in the case of Bolivia, all the glaciers are going to disappear in the Andean region. That at least 50% of the biodiversity is going to be lost in the coming years. That we will have a very difficult situation when it comes to water, when it comes to agriculture. Actually, in the world, there are 1 billion persons that don't have enough food, and this will increase because of the impacts of climate change and increasing the temperature to 2 and even worse, 4 degrees Celsius. Many island states are going to disappear beneath the water. What is going to happen with our forests, with an increase of the temperature, is something that we have already seen in Australia and New Zealand. Actually, every year, 300,000 persons die because of natural disasters that have to do with climate change. This figure will increase even more in the coming years and can even reach and surpass 1 million persons per year. Can we accept an agreement that puts humanity under a situation of genocide? Because what is genocide? When you know that 100,000 persons are going to die, you're speaking about genocide. And if you don't do nothing to stop it, you're going to be responsible of that. And that is what's happening. This agreement leads to an increase of the temperature that is going to damage humanity and Mother Earth. That is why Bolivia decided to stand alone in Cancun and oppose this agreement. We would hope to be wrong. I would be very happy if somebody comes and tells us that no, that nothing of what we are speaking is going to happen. But if you see what the scientists are saying, the situation is terrible. So we wanted to make an alert, a wake-up call to all the social movements in all the countries, because the only way to change this situation is to organize in our trade unions, in the students' movement, in the peasant movements, in the indigenous peoples' movement, in the women's movement, in order to put pressure to our government so we can manage to have really a substantive increase in their commitments for emission reduction, so that we can be something in between to an increase of 1 degree Celsius and not surpass 1.5 degrees Celsius. That is already a problem. At this moment, the increase in the temperature has been only 0.8 degrees Celsius. Can you imagine a world where we will see 5 or 6 times more natural disasters than the ones that we are already suffering? This is something that we cannot tolerate. The other issue is that not only the targets are very weak, but also the mechanism has been weakened. Now we have the Kyoto Protocol. The Kyoto Protocol is not a perfect agreement at all. It has many loopholes. But what they are doing is to even weaken more the Kyoto Protocol. In which way? I always explain that in the Kyoto Protocol, it's like when you want to build a dam to protect a town. You need to decide first what's going to be the altitude, how high is going to be the dam in order to preserve that town from a river, from a flood that's going to come. So first you have to decide that the dam is going to be, let's say, 25 meters high in order to protect the town. And then once you decide how high the dam has to be, then you ask all the citizens of the town to bring you enough stones in order to build a dam that is 25 meters high. But the problem is that now with this new accord, what they are trying to promote is something very different. It's like saying to all the citizens of the town, bring as many stones as you want, and we will see how high the dam is going to be. So the dam is only going to be 5 or 7 meters high. That won't stop the river that's threatening the town. And they tell us that we shouldn't be so orthodox. We shouldn't ask for so much. That this is a very small step forward and we should recognize it. But if you want to preserve that town and you only build a dam of 5 or 7 meters high, in reality you're not preserving the town. If you want to preserve the town, the dam has to be 25 meters high. So it is something, it's the same when it comes to climate change. If you want to preserve humanity, humankind, you need to reduce greenhouse gas emissions in order to stabilize the temperature to 1 degree Celsius. If we manage to do that, we will leave our sons and daughters a planet that will be mostly like the one we have known. So this is the key issue. That is why we say that the result from Cancun is not a step forward, not even a small step forward. It's a step backward, because it goes in the direction where everybody is going to do whatever he wants in the coming years, in a situation where we need to have even more stronger targets in order to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Now, from now on, if we want to change the situation, the key issue is not in diplomacy, it's not in negotiation, it's in social movement, organization, and mobilization. So, nature has the last word, but the social movement have also the last word at worldwide level. Thank you.